1. Silence. There's no such thing as quiet in August on the North Fork of Long Island. The air vibrates with the humid thrum of summer, the shouts of kids' laughing calls from the pool, the chirp of crickets in the sycamores. The insect sound reminds me of tickets spitting from a kitchen printer during a busy dinner service. I'm happy they're not. Tiki, my flat-coated retriever, nudges a stick against my legs, hoping I'll take the bait and throw. I'd like to, but there is work to do, as there always is when the sun is out. We have a kitchen garden, you see. A big one. Its demands, which change by the day, run me during these summer months, and to ignore them spells calamity. When my wife, Lori, and I bought the house in 2002, this garden was just a stretch of parched and patchy grass, too shadeless and sunny for play. I procrastinated for 10 years before I got busy laying a dozen raised beds and filling them with vegetables and flowers for pollinators. Now it's my passion. Weeds are poking up, a new crop since I went after them this morning. 8 or so varieties of tomatoes hang wantonly for picking. Blackberries grow to the size of a human thumb, taunting me to get busy, even though I know I'll be pricked. And as I pick, plans form. Maybe a quick dice of this zucchini, tossed with the tuna we caught on the boat yesterday. These deep purple eggplants will work with raisins and capers for caponata. The tomatoes need very little. Sliced, they'll lay out nicely with the hand-pulled mozzarella I buy at Lombardi's. And on from there. The cycle whereby a seed becomes a plant and then ultimately a food has been magical to me since I watched it up close in my Grandpa Mike's driveway in early childhood. Grandpa had plants in 5-gallon buckets growing against the red brick of our 4-family home in Elizabeth, New Jersey. With a Marlboro hanging from his mouth, it never fell. He'd use his worker's fingers to gently coax a single tendril from the dirt. Mere weeks later, he'd be cutting back leaves. Why chop away so much? He explained that removing the excess would allow the precious energy and nutrients from sun and soil to be driven into the fruit. My first taste of agriscience. At the height of the season, my grandfather's buckets ran amok with tomato plants, pepper bushes, and ropey zucchini vines. Here was nature. But it's the tomatoes I remember best, if only because they were a staple food for us. Grandpa picked them, Grandma canned them, and we ate them in everything, all year long. There aren't too many things in the world that reward hard work, patience, and care as consistently or exuberantly as a tomato plant. When I was a kid, my mother's father was a daily presence in my life, informing much of what I knew of men and manhood. He was a straight shooter, a cause-and-effect guy well-suited to the reliable output of driveway gardening. He was strict and old guard. Legend was he'd refused to let my mother and her sister out of the house as teenagers. She met my father in high school, and, because that's how it worked in those days, they got married as soon as he left the service. With a father like hers, there was no playing the field. But my dad wasn't home much, so even after she married, Grandpa stayed a primary figure in my mother's life, and therefore in my brother's and mine too. He and my grandmother lived more or less next door, and our lives were woven together in a way that seems hard to imagine today. Grandpa would shuttle us around, since my mom didn't drive, and wait with a newspaper behind the wheel until it was time to drive us back home. It was he who took me out for bluefish or crabs at dawn in Barnegat Bay, sparking my lifelong romance with fishing. My grandmother, Esther, was loving and warm. On her good days. The rest of the time, she seemed off her rocker, the clinical term then for what we now call bipolar, baking cakes with frantic energy or retreating into bleak stretches of dark inertia. My grandfather patiently weathered her storms, ate the cake, or quietly took over cooking duties when she was too low to get out of bed. Grandpa was square, but he was also creative and inventive. He kept tanks of bright tropical fish in the basement next to his workshop,